What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys a review for Mike P versus King, which just happened on the Trenches I Control Everything card, which is a card I didn't actually get around to doing predictions for, so that's my bad. But every time I mentioned it, which I think I did in a few videos, I kept saying King versus Mike P is the card for me. That whole card revolved around that one matchup. Just in my personal opinion, I was super duper looking forward to it, but I did not get to watch any, at least live, of the Trenches I Control Everything card. It was on Sunday after a long, overstuffed, oversaturated, jam-packed battle rap weekend. I clocked out of work and I saw that the Street Talk event had started on Friday, so I watched like the second half of that. Then after that, we had Exodus, obviously, which ended up being a pretty good event, but a more, major level event. And then you get to Sunday, and you have the Trenches card. That is 3 days of live battle rap in a row. That is a lot. And there was an event on top of that Smack had on Twitch, which is funny because Smack's kind of the one that brought up the whole oversaturated talk, which he is 1,000% right about. But he just happened to be like partnering with the on-site Battle League or whatever, and so a fourth event happening in the weekend. Absolutely ridiculous. And before we get into the review, I just have to mention that because then when you get all these no-shows and call-outs and Easy and Twerk can't happen, and A-Ward and Jay the Nightwing can't happen, I think that the Trenches lost a couple battles. They lost Rosenberg versus Un P, which I saw Froze put out after the fact what had happened. It has something to do with his daughter. Completely valid reason and absolutely should have backed out. But when everything is just overbooked, it's confusing. You don't know which back out's coming from which card. And it's confusing as like a diehard fan, as media that goes through every event. I'm going to be on the Cody panel. I really can't miss a thing. I go back to watch things that I missed. If you're a casual fan, which is like 70 to 80% of any sport or line of entertainment like this one, how is a fan that's not super into battle rap every single day supposed to figure out what matters and what to sift through? It is far, far too much. We need less leagues. We need more structure. And that's my little mini rant right there, because I feel bad doing the Trenches not being able to watch it live. But just far too much battle rap in a row. And with all that being said, we can get into King versus Mike P. So first round of the battle starts on Mike P. He opens up with this dog walk, let's go get this shit bar. Thought that was cool. Talking about taking out King's girl, kill the queen on the King's mattress. I thought that was pretty clever. The Liver King bar I thought was clever. Just a lot of like jabs I felt for the first half of this first. What's a Gen Z's worst nightmare? A boomer. I thought that was pretty good. And then the first Goku bar of the battle, and there is a ton, which was kind of expected. This is the whole Ryu versus Goku thing, but you'll see as we talk about the second round. But the whole Goku, you had to wait for your friends to die to go kill shit. I thought that was dope. And the second half of Mike's first, which I think is the better half, is really based on his rapping ability. And I think if you've seen any praise for Mike in this battle, it's been his rap. I mean, a lot of his career, his just strict rapping ability is praised, but you especially see it here. The pockets, the whole Michael Jackson, he's kind of like flipping, like say a pair of words this way and then flip it around for the next bar, into the whole you get done with an Annie, are you okay? That whole shit, it's one of those, whenever it's like heavy rap based and it's based more so in like the pockets and the flow than just the bar, I'm never going to write it out perfect. But that whole shit, if you've seen it, was fucking incredible from Mike P. Then he has a little bit of drug talk, which, he's dabbled in here or there. It's not really like one of the main parts of Mike's game. But talking about, I think it was selling black tar and coke, salt and pepper, push it real good. So the salt and pepper bar, which was a haymaker in my opinion, might have been the best bar of his round right there with kind of the Michael Jackson shit. And then he ends on a New Balance bar at his first. So it's not like a crazy first from Mike, but I think it's solid. It's respectable. And then King goes in the first. He actually rebuttals the dog walk bar for Mike. I don't even have the whole rebuttal written down, but I know it was ass. It was ass. And I will say, as King rebuttals more and more, I'm noticing he's more of a Danny Myers type of rebuttaler than he is someone that just like, and he's always said Danny's one of his biggest inspirations, but Danny will rebuttal like 7 times at the start of his round. 2 might be like terrible. 3 could be like okay, and maybe like 1 or 2 are like fire. And it's like just very inconsistent. I feel like King can be like that too, because then he has a rebuttal right after for the Michael Jackson shit. King of Pop, now his blood's on the dance floor, and that was fire. So he has a trash rebuttal and then a good rebuttal to start his first, and reminded me of Danny Myers a little bit in that sense. From there, he is the Kurt Angle's versus Shawn Michaels bar, the way he set up that wrestling bar I thought was cool. Pick Ryu with a Hawk. This is Marvel versus Capcom, which, like I said, a lot of Goku and Ryu bars are going to happen, and that was fire. The electric toothbrush bar I thought was fire. He's talking about he battled Danny Myers and then battled, obviously, Mike P. He's like, I'm the only one to survive Michael Myers on Busta Rhymes. That was a haymaker. The video talking about angling a little bit. I wouldn't even say angling. He just mentions this through the battle. Maybe in the third it's more angling. But a lot of talk about Mike being a gamer, because Mike P is a streamer. He is very, very good at Call of Duty at that. He's just video gaming music, like Guitar Hero. I thought that was good. And then the moment of his first, for the most part, the one that I think pretty clearly gives him the round, is kind of talking about his dealings with the trenches, right? Speaking on loyalty, maybe issues they have behind the scenes, but they talk it out. But that's between us, like inmate glass, and we can still dap through it. That was crazy, and it's the best bar of the first round from either of them, and is really one of the best bars of the battle. So he already won clear by then, and then he follows that up with, well, you're gonna die a Street Fighter, like Kimbo Slice, Ryu Street Fighter, obviously Kimbo Slice. That was stupid too. Even the DraftKings bar, they want to, for everyone that wants to bet on battle rap, DraftKings. That's why they draft King. I thought that was crazy. So it's really no shocker here. King won the first round clear. I thought it was a pretty cool start to the battle for Mike P, but a real statement first round in the battle for King. And then it's back on Mike in the second round of this battle. And as I've been saying, it's Goku versus Ryu, right? And it's going to be a lot of mentions of that. But it is taken to the highest level in this second round by Mike P, because early on he starts out and he's like, joke's on you, Goku. I've been Vegeta the whole time. And he gets into the full, he's got the white gloves on, he's got the yellow hair sticking straight up. And from there, Mike P really lands 3 main bars out of this, but all of them land as haymakers. I mean, bombs. The whole, I was traveling off Earth to find King, and then my cell blew up. That was crazy. The whole talking about getting with King's girl and having a drink with her, the Majin Buu, that was crazy. And then the one that, I mean, really, really, almost like when he hit it, you realize it's like this might be by far the best round Mike's going to have this battle, is the whole, you'll think that's a bright idea till you see this light in my hand and the white gloves light the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So high level performance, high level creativity. You get the props involved, the writing, even the voice inflection he did to kind of match up to it. But the writing isn't getting left behind. It's not just all in the performance. Like the shit is great, all good Dragon Ball Z shit. Some of the best you're probably going to see with how committed he was to it. And that's like just kind of the first half or 2/3 of Mike P's second, but it's extremely powerful and it's a moment in itself. And then from there you have the it's a numbers game bar. I like that. The whole talking about having a fridge full of food to having nothing, going to madness, and I could snap at any moment. I thought that was crazy. The EBT snap punch in there. And then he has the ice agent in your house and you don't know why, like an ice agent. I thought that was clever. And then even you get peppered in the corner like Papa John's. I thought that was good. So Mike P's second is a step up from his first, and they're still like efficient rounds. He's not rapping the longest rounds. He's like, sticking right to the time limit in this battle, but the quality is just a step up, even though, neither are bad rounds. So then it's on King in the second, and he has the whole, it's kind of this concept about Michael Jordan coming back from retiring from baseball. So now I'm just showing Mike how to get into the swing of things. I thought that was cool. I'll make your auntie talk with her throat like a cigarette commercial, which was fire. And then another theme kind of for the rest of the battle, at least for King's side of things, Call of Duty bars. Obviously, Mike plays a lot of Call of Duty. The whole you're the one playing Call of Duty, but I've been on the kill streak. How'd I get a kill streak in a corner? I thought that was dope. And the AFK away from controller bar, I thought that was dope as well. So a couple cool cod flips in there. He had the whole "you're good as impersonation, sounds like a dead man." I thought he could have done that concept better because I actually really like that whole impersonation, sounds like a dead man. But obviously it's still cool and original. The Slugfest bar was good, and then he hit some pockets of his own at the end of the third. He even has this whole Mike not adjusting to the angle about his girl well, which at this point we've heard not only a ton of versions of the angles about Mike's girl, we have heard this angle before about Mike not reacting to it well. That's how many renditions it's been over the years, but it goes in this whole Xbox Mike scheme. It's a cool second from King. I think comparatively, it is his weakest of the battle, and for me, Mike clears the second, and it is a clear 1-1 heading into the third. And we are back on Mike P for the third and final round of the battle. He opens up with the NBA Jam Legends. This was lit from the jump. I thought that was dope. The Chef's Kiss bar. He had this bar. I got the AK in the car. 47 in my control. Like Netanyahu or whoever the leader of Israel is. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But the whole 47 under my control. Trump 47th president under Israel's control. I thought that bar went over people's heads, but I thought that was fire. Follows it up with other politics bar. Candace Owens, you don't even speak for your own people. I thought that was hard. And another couple more Dragon Ball bars, Goku bars to end out his third. The Shenron put seven rounds in front of Goku, make a wish, like the 7 Dragon Balls, and then the cut the tails bar. I thought both of those were fire. I really liked the 7 rounds in front of Goku bar. And then the ending of Mike's third is really not directed at King. He kind of says, it's kind of the way he executes it is like, wait until you have a career to talk about like this. But it's really Mike ranting kind of about his own career, saying he is top 50 of all time. He doesn't give a fuck what anyone says, and that, he'll get lost in the fold, but he's giving classic performances versus a variety of different tiers on a variety of different stages, big and small. It's like a letter about his own career, just to kind of give out there. And he is talking about retiring. He does seem pretty dead set on this being one of his last few battles. So, understandable. And then he has a shot at Geechee Gotti in there, talking about, at least I'm not washed up, not giving a fuck, and being called the California Clips and having no integrity. Like, I feel like that's pretty clearly a Gotti, especially following the shoddy horror performance. So guess there's no love lost there from that band one rounder. But that's Mike's third. I thought overall good Mike performance, not as strong as his second, but I might like it like a little bit more than his first round. And then it's on King to close the battle, and he talks about Mike battling Ars. I believe it was a compliment battle they did, and they put the most disrespectful against the most disrespected, which was kind of funny. And there's a lot of different angles that King hops in and out of in the third, and I think that's kind of becoming a habit of his writing style. Punch, even with some topics. Then the third is going to be like the super tailored round, which I think is kind of a good formula to set up. I think it worked versus Danny, and it works here. So he has the Falling Out with URL. It was like reverse slavery, smack white, but never gave you backlash. Thought that was dope. You're off smacking, talking about retiring. Now who's got the withdrawals? I thought that was hard as well. So a few angles on Mike leaving smack. Thought you talked about fettuccinis. Even talked about Shuni's ex in the battle. You're Italian. I thought you loved fettuccine and Shuni getting the divorce. Italian fettuccine cheese. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So I like that. He's kind of like back to back with it. I think his writing is well put together in the third too. Couple more Call of Duty bars. The COD Search and Destroy bar I thought was good. The Warzone, they put together the money and bought you back to life like you do in the Warzone game. And then probably my favorite of any of the ones that he did, he's talking about the UAV that obviously you get in Call of Duty, but now you're just a dot on the map and you're under the radar. Obviously, in the bottom right on COD, you get the red dots for the UAV. So I like that a lot. And then kind of, which I didn't think he was going to get right, like directly at the Mike's girl angle, bringing up Ryder, but he kind of did. He kind of did here at the end. And one more Call of Duty bar for you. He got her load out from her box. Is that a care package? So that was fire. Into the attorney, I've never seen you in public defend her bar. So kind of ending on a high note here with the haymaker, and then even the clever Magic Johnson bar at the end. I just think King had enough where, is this like, I don't feel like he crushed him. You could even argue, even though no round is like ugly, I felt like he won the first by a bigger margin, but I still pretty clearly have King getting the third, even though I thought Mike did good as well. So for me, this was a good battle. It wasn't battle of the night. I was able to watch Prep versus Dre Majesty, which I do believe was battle of the night, and had a pretty clear winner in that too, to be perfectly honest with you. But I think this is a good battle. It's a great next step for King, and it's a very respectable fight for Mike P here towards the end of his career. So I had King 2-1 clear in the first and third. And with all that being said, that is my full review for King versus Mike P. Like I said, I think it was a good battle. I was happy with it. And as for King, because with Mike P, coming to what he's saying is his retirement, I know he called out Eunice, and I think he said his last battle he would want Calico and Winter Madness. I don't know if he'll get that done. I do think Mike P versus Eunice could get done before the year ends. So I hope to see that. And if it's not Calico, some matchup. Would love to see Mike P versus Rock. If they could figure it out on some place, I would love to see Mike P versus Rock as maybe Mike P's last battle. That would be, or last battle for now. Who knows if it's a permanent retirement? It's battle rap. But I think that would be pretty cool. And as for King, this files in. I have it as a pretty clear win. But I see some people saying the third might be closer. It's worth debating for them. So even if you consider it that and it's just a good debatable battle, it falls right in line with everything King's been doing after the Trenches tourney and since he's been battling vets. The Cortez battle, very good. For me, it was battle of the night, or at least in the conversation for that card. King versus Danny, clearly battle of the night, one of the best of the year. And then King versus Mike P is good. Only thing with King, because I've never been disappointed with a King performance. So this is not a rap-based thing. He's got to do a little bit more in between his battles, promoting just his brand. It's not always just the battles. And I'm not saying, I know that there's guys like King, especially you're really talented. I think Nitty was one of the guys that, I'm not going to say originated this, but the thing with Nitty is he wants to rap and go home. I literally saw King tweet that a little earlier today. And Nitty's talent was always like here, right? But it took so long for his status to match because of that approach to the game. So you see some of these like straight bar for bar guys that don't want to be bothered with like the bullshit, nonsense, and drama on the in-between weeks of battle rap that try that same template. And it's just, you don't need to be a full part of the circus and just talk shit to everyone and just be doing anything. But King, just a little bit more, man. Just signs of life. Not 2.5 months we don't hear from you. Some tweets about upcoming battles, your opinions on regular battle rap topics. So just anything, even just your opinions on the day, sports, just it's little things to connect to your fans. And that's when you're not only on stage, like the things that happen before and after, that's also how you cultivate your fan base. So I hope, I'm not expecting a 180 difference or he's gonna be the best promoter, but just a little bit more effort in that department would really go a long way. And if my only critique is about something he does kind of outside of the ring, it goes to show how I feel about what he's doing in terms of his raps and when he's performing against an opponent. So that's my thoughts for both of those battlers. And I did not watch the full Trenches card up to this point. I haven't seen Cortez versus Truffaut, which is like, I've watched two battles. I watched this, and then I watched Dre Majesty versus Prep. And I think after Core and Truffaut, I'll have caught up on everything that like I need to catch up on. But I just wanted to say, I think Prep versus Dre is a better battle than this. And I can't just flat out call it battle of the night because I haven't seen the full card. But I've heard that's kind of the convos between these two battles. I prefer Prep versus Dre. I will say I had Prep Gentleman's 30, and that's not really an indictment on Dre. I thought his first was great. I thought his second was good. I definitely think you can debate the second and the first, so I'm not even going to go as far to say as it's like a super clear battle. But Prep's first is long as shit, but it is better. Like, he has a bunch of crazy shit in it, but he rapped forever. And then the second, I just thought Prep had a little more. And as the battle went on, I think Dre ran out of a little bit of steam, but with how good his first two rounds are, I definitely think it was a good performance where he showed up in front of a mid-tier and he really fought. Now, do I have him on the losing end even for all 3 rounds? Yes, but I still don't think it's going to go down as like a bad look for Dre Majesty, because I just think his performance was that powerful. But Prep is, he's underrated by his own work, his own fault, because of the stigma that he's gotten. But he showed up and took Dre very serious. And when you have the hungry new guy super serious and then the underrated mid-tier also super serious, you're going to get one of the best battles of the card. So Prep versus Dre I thought was good. King versus Mike P I thought was good. Good look for the Trenches roster, their new talent that they're pushing. And I can't wait to see what both of them do next. Hopefully maybe one more time. Well, I know Dre has a bunch of battles, but hopefully we see King one more time before the year's out. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Who did you have winning, King versus Mike P? What did you think of the Trenches event if you saw it? And really any thoughts from this weekend of Battle Rap, man. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.